Have you ever been looking at homes and come across one you really like, only to find out that it's already in escrow? This happens a lot in real estate. But if you really like that home, don't give up, because the truth is, some of these homes will come back on the market. But what does back on the market really mean? Well, in this video, I'm going to explain what it means, plus I'll show you why a home might come back on the market. Hi, my name is Casey and I'm a realtor here in Corona. And on this channel, I share information about the senior communities of Trilogy, Glen Ivy, and the community of Terramor. But I also help buyers and sellers all across Southern California. So if you have any real estate questions, just reach out and let me know. All of my contact information is located in the description below. Okay, so let's get started. If you've ever been shopping for a home, you already know that some homes end up selling very quickly. There are a lot of buyers out there just waiting for the right home to come on the market. And when it does, these buyers act quickly. And it's not uncommon for these homes to go into escrow before you can actually schedule an appointment to go see it. And if this happens, you know just how frustrating this can be. But sometimes these homes end up falling out of escrow and coming back on the market. But what does that really mean? Is something wrong with the home? Did something bad happen? And should you avoid a home when this happens? Well, the truth is, a home can come back on the market for several reasons. And some of these reasons have absolutely nothing to do with the actual home itself. So let's take a look and see what some of those reasons are. Number one, issues with financing. Now, the most common reason we see a home come back on the market has to do with financing. When a buyer submits an offer for a home, they have to provide a pre-approval letter from their lender. And even though a pre-approval letter is a good sign, it's not a guarantee that the loan will be approved. And here in California, once an offer is accepted, the buyer typically has 17 days to get their loan fully approved from the lender. But unfortunately, this doesn't always happen. And several things can affect the final approval of a loan. Sadly, I've seen buyers get laid off or change jobs during escrow. Or a buyer goes out and makes a large purchase after their offer is accepted, like buying a new car, a truck, or a boat. And sometimes something pops up at the last minute on a person's credit profile. But any of these things can happen and cause a loan to be denied. And if it does, this home will come back on the market. Number two, issues with the appraisal. If a person is buying a home and is getting a mortgage, the lender will typically require an appraisal of the home to make sure of its value. So an appraiser will come out and determine the value of the home based on recent sales in the neighborhood. But sometimes the appraised value comes back lower than the amount being offered by the buyer. It creates a problem called an appraisal gap. And this difference becomes a problem because the lender will only make their loan based on the appraised amount. And when this amount is less than the purchase price, the buyer is left having to make up the difference in cash, and that's not always possible. So the buyer and seller are in a position where they have to renegotiate the price of the home. And sometimes they can come to an agreement, but sometimes they can't. But if they can't agree on a price, the buyer will usually have to back out. And if the buyer has to back out, the home will come back on the market. Number three, issues with the home inspection. Now, just like with financing, a buyer has a certain time period to conduct an inspection of the home. And here in California, it's typically 17 days. And when a home comes back on the market, most people automatically assume there was a problem with the home inspection. And the truth is, a lot of the issues discovered during a home inspection can cause the buyer to get nervous. And if the buyer isn't comfortable with the condition of the home, they can cancel the purchase contract, just as long as they do it within the 17-day time period. But there are other options too. A buyer can ask the seller to repair the items found during the inspection, or they can ask the seller to provide a credit at closing so the buyer can make the repairs themselves. And finally, they can ask a seller to reduce the price of the home based on the amount of repairs needed. It really comes down to the type of repairs needed and the buyer's comfort level. Some buyers are very handy and don't mind making minor repairs, especially if they really love the home. And others get very nervous and would rather just keep looking. But a home inspection can be the cause of a home coming back on the market, but it doesn't always mean it's a major issue. It could be several small issues, it could be just simple deferred maintenance, or it could be a single item. But don't let that scare you away. Take a look and then decide, because what's a major concern for some people may be a minor issue for someone else. And if the home is in the area or neighborhood that you really want to be in, and you get it for the right price, it might end up being the right one for you. Number four, HOA. Now, if you're purchasing a home in an HOA community, you'll get the chance to review the HOA documents. And these documents will contain the rules, regulations, and fees for that community. And if for some reason a buyer doesn't like or doesn't agree with the rules of that community, they do have a right to back out. Now, we very rarely ever see a buyer back out of a purchase due to an issue with the HOA, but it could happen. Number five, cold feet. This is an issue that really does happen, and probably more than you think. But it's not uncommon for a person to have second thoughts about buying a home, especially after sleeping on it for a few nights. They may have second thoughts about the home itself, the neighborhood, or they may start feeling stressed about their new mortgage payment. But these thoughts of remorse can really affect some people. And when these thoughts become overwhelming for a buyer, it's not uncommon to receive a call saying they've changed their mind and they'd like to back out. These situations can be really frustrating for everyone, but especially for the seller. Once a seller accepts an offer, they start moving forward with their move. They start boxing up their belongings, they start arranging for help for moving day, and typically they're purchasing another home, so they're working on that sale too. But when a buyer backs out because of cold feet, it's an opportunity for someone else to step in and buy that home. And number 6, a failed home sale contingency. Sometimes a buyer will make an offer for a home, but with the added condition that they have to sell their current home first. In real estate, this is called making an offer contingent upon the sale of their existing home. The problem with this type of offer is if the buyer can't sell their home quickly enough, they can cancel and back out. Now in some markets, home sellers simply won't accept an offer with a home sale contingency. There's just a lot of risk for a seller with this type of offer, and they do have a much higher chance of not closing. So as you can see, there are a lot of things that can go wrong when selling a home. And when it does, the home will typically come back on the market. But the reality is, the majority of reasons a home comes back on the market have nothing to do with the actual home at all. So if you miss the first chance to buy a home and it comes back on the market, don't shy away. It might actually be a golden opportunity to step in and buy the home that you really wanted.